We live in a world brimming with chaos, distractions, and emotional triggers. Yet, amidst this turmoil, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a timeless sanctuary. Imagine a life where external events no longer dictate your inner state, where anger, frustration, and irritation lose their grip, and peace becomes your default mode. This is not an unattainable dream. It is a discipline that can be cultivated one principle at a time. In this journey, we will explore 10 transformative lessons drawn from the wisdom of the Stoics. These lessons are designed to help you rise above impulsive reactions, embrace self-control, and reclaim authority over your emotions. Whether it's reframing criticism, mastering gratitude, or learning the profound art of letting go, each principle brings you closer to a life of clarity and resilience. This is more than philosophy. It is a guide to living deliberately. Together, we will uncover how Stoicism can empower you to navigate life's storms with a steady hand and a calm heart. Are you ready to embark on this transformative path? 1. Recognize your power to choose your reaction. Anger and frustration do not originate from the world around us, but from within. As Epictetus wisely observed, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The first step to emotional mastery is realizing that your reactions are entirely your choice. Imagine being stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. A driver abruptly cuts in front of you, forcing you to hit the brakes. Your immediate impulse might be to react with anger, honking your horn, shouting, or letting the incident ruin your mood for the rest of the journey. But what if, instead, you paused? What if you reframe the situation? Perhaps that driver is rushing to an emergency or simply made a mistake. By choosing calm over outrage, you shift the narrative and protect your peace of mind. This principle applies to more significant challenges as well. Consider a scenario in the workplace. You've worked tirelessly on a project, but during a team meeting, a colleague criticizes your approach. Your first reaction might be to feel defensive or even humiliated. However, by taking a moment to reflect, you can transform this criticism into an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, is there truth in what they are saying? Can I use this feedback to improve? By focusing on what you can control, your response, you demonstrate emotional resilience and foster a constructive environment. Real-world examples of this principle abound. Professional athletes often face intense scrutiny and high-pressure situations. A basketball player who misses a crucial shot can either dwell on the mistake, letting it affect their performance, or choose to reset mentally, focusing on the next play. This ability to let go of the past and remain present is a hallmark of emotional mastery. Practical strategies can help you cultivate this mindset. Pause and breathe. When faced with a provoking situation, take a deep breath before reacting. This simple act creates a moment of clarity, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Reframe the event. Shift your perspective by considering alternative explanations for the situation. For example, instead of assuming someone's rudeness is personal, consider that they might be having a bad day. Practice self-awareness. Regularly reflect on your emotional triggers. Journaling can be a powerful tool for identifying patterns in your reactions and finding ways to address them constructively. Develop a mantra. Repeat a calming phrase or affirmation in moments of stress. Marcus Aurelius's reminder, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Can serve as a grounding thought. Historical figures also exemplify this principle. Nelson Mandela, during his 27 years of imprisonment, faced countless provocations and injustices. Yet, he chose not to react with bitterness. Instead, he focused on maintaining his dignity and preparing for a future where he could lead with wisdom and compassion. His ability to master his reactions allowed him to emerge from prison as a unifying leader rather than a man consumed by anger. In your daily life, practice this principle in small moments. When a barista gets your coffee order wrong, or a coworker interrupts you during a presentation, remind yourself that your reaction is your choice. These seemingly minor decisions build the foundation for greater emotional control in more challenging situations. Ultimately, recognizing your power to choose your reaction is about reclaiming control over your emotional landscape. The world will always present provocations, but your inner peace depends on how you respond. By mastering this skill, you not only reduce anger and frustration, but also cultivate a sense of strength and clarity that will guide you through life's storms. 2. Let go of unrealistic expectations. Much of our frustration stems not from the actions of others, but from the expectations we impose on them. We often assume that people should behave in a way that aligns with our values, beliefs, or standards. When they inevitably don't, disappointment and anger take root. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. This is not an invitation to cynicism, but a call to prepare ourselves for reality. Imagine hosting a family dinner. You spend hours planning, cooking, and ensuring everything is perfect. However, one guest criticizes the food, and another spends the entire evening on their phone. If you entered the event expecting universal praise and undivided attention, these behaviors would likely leave you hurt and frustrated. But if you had embraced Marcus Aurelius's wisdom and tempered your expectations, these actions might not have impacted you as deeply. Instead, you could focus on the guests who appreciate your efforts, savoring the moments that bring joy. Another common scenario is in the workplace. Suppose you're leading a team project and expect everyone to contribute equally. However, one member consistently misses deadlines or delivers subpar work. If your expectation is that everyone should approach tasks with your level of dedication, their behavior will undoubtedly irritate you. But by adjusting your expectations and accepting that people have different work styles, priorities, or challenges, you can focus on what's within your control. Offering support, setting clear guidelines, or redistributing responsibilities. Historical examples illustrate the power of letting go of unrealistic expectations. Cato the Younger, a Stoic statesman, lived during a time of immense political corruption in ancient Rome. Despite his unwavering commitment to virtue, he did not expect others to share his moral rigor. While he consistently advocated for justice, he did so without letting the inevitable opposition embitter him. Cato's ability to adjust his expectations allowed him to remain steadfast in his principles without being consumed by frustration. In personal relationships, letting go of expectations can transform how we interact with loved ones. Consider a situation where your partner forgets an important date, like an anniversary. If you expect them to always remember and celebrate such occasions as you do, their oversight might feel like a personal slight. However, by recognizing that their forgetfulness does not diminish their care for you, you free yourself from unnecessary hurt and approach the situation with understanding rather than resentment. Practical strategies for letting go of unrealistic expectations include: anticipate imperfection. Before entering situations, remind yourself that people are flawed and may not meet your standards. This mindset reduces the likelihood of disappointment. Focus on your actions. Instead of fixating on how others should behave, concentrate on what you can control. For example, if hosting an event, focus on creating a warm atmosphere rather than expecting universal praise. Practice empathy. Try to see situations from others' perspectives. If a colleague misses a deadline, consider the challenges they might be facing instead of immediately labeling them as lazy or inconsiderate. Reframe disappointments. When someone falls short of your expectations, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, how can I adjust my approach? This shifts your focus from frustration to growth. Letting go of expectations doesn't mean abandoning standards or tolerating poor behavior. Instead, it's about recognizing that holding rigid expectations often leads to unnecessary suffering. By tempering your assumptions, you create space for acceptance and adaptability. Modern examples abound. Consider customer service professionals who often encounter rude or impatient customers. Those who expect kindness from every interaction are more likely to experience burnout. However, those who approach their role with an understanding that some customers will be difficult can maintain their composure and deliver excellent service regardless of the situation. In your own life, reflect on areas where your expectations frequently lead to frustration. Perhaps it's with a friend who often cancels plans or a coworker who dominates meetings. By adjusting your expectations and accepting people as they are, you free yourself from the emotional burden of trying to control what is beyond your influence. Marcus Aurelius's guidance to prepare for imperfection is a profound reminder of our shared humanity. Letting go of unrealistic expectations doesn't lower your standards, it raises your resilience. In doing so, you create a life filled with greater peace, understanding, and flexibility. 3. Value inner peace over being right. The compulsion to always be right is a deeply ingrained human trait, but it often comes at the expense of our peace and relationships. In moments of conflict, the Stoics teach us to ask a simple but transformative question: is proving myself right more valuable than preserving harmony? As Seneca wisely noted, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. That delay offers an opportunity to reflect and choose a path that prioritizes peace over pride. Imagine a heated debate with a colleague about the direction of a project. You are certain your approach is correct, and the conversation escalates as both sides become more entrenched. By stepping back and asking, "What am I trying to achieve here?" you may realize that the goal of the discussion is not to win, but to find the best solution. By focusing on collaboration instead of victory, you defuse tension and open the door to constructive dialogue. In personal relationships, this principle is equally profound. Picture a disagreement with your partner over household responsibilities. You might feel the urge to list all the chores you've done to prove your contribution. However, by pausing and considering their perspective, you may find a better way forward. Instead of keeping score, focus on understanding their needs and communicating your own. This approach strengthens the relationship rather than eroding it with arguments over who is right. Practical strategies for valuing peace over being right include pause and reflect. In moments of disagreement, take a breath and ask yourself, is this argument worth my peace? Often you'll find the answer is no. Listen actively. Rather than formulating your rebuttal while the other person is speaking, truly listen to their perspective. Active listening fosters understanding and reduces conflict. Focus on the bigger picture. Ask yourself what the long-term impact of the disagreement will be. Will it matter in a week, a month, or a year? This perspective can help you prioritize what truly matters. Choose your battles. Not every disagreement requires your participation. Learn to let go of minor conflicts and reserve your energy for what genuinely aligns with your values. Historical examples illustrate the power of this principle. Marcus Aurelius, as Emperor of Rome, often faced dissent from advisors and generals. Instead of forcing his views, he listened and sought consensus, understanding that unity was more important than personal validation. His ability to prioritize the greater good over his ego made him a revered leader. A modern example can be found in the world of sports. Imagine a basketball player arguing with a referee over a perceived bad call. While the player may be correct, their insistence on proving their point could lead to a technical foul, harming the team. The most disciplined athletes understand the value of letting go and focusing on the next play, rather than dwelling on the injustice of the moment. In professional settings, leaders who embrace this principle create healthier work environments. A manager who admits they don't have all the answers fosters trust and collaboration among their team. By valuing input over being right, they inspire innovation and unity. Letting go of the need to always be right is not a sign of weakness, but of immense strength and self-awareness. It demonstrates confidence in your own values and the humility to recognize that others' perspectives may hold merit. This shift in mindset not only reduces conflict, but also deepens relationships and fosters mutual respect. In your own life, identify situations where the urge to be right often leads to unnecessary tension. It might be a recurring disagreement with a family member or a debate with a friend. Practice letting go in these moments, prioritizing peace over validation. Remember, as the Stoics teach, true strength lies not in domination, but in the ability to rise above the fray and choose tranquility over turmoil. 4. Detach from external opinions. One of the most liberating principles of Stoicism is the realization that our worth is not determined by the opinions of others. Epictetus reminds us, if anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, he was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone. This wisdom emphasizes that external judgments are merely reflections of other people's perspectives and biases, not absolute truths about who we are. Imagine presenting a bold idea at work, only to be met with skepticism or even ridicule from colleagues. Your initial reaction might be to feel embarrassed or defensive. However, by detaching yourself from their opinions, you gain the clarity to evaluate your idea on its merits. If their feedback is constructive, use it to refine your proposal. If it's baseless criticism, let it roll off your shoulders, knowing it says more about them than about you. Another common scenario involves social media. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to be swayed by likes, comments, and shares. For instance, posting a heartfelt message online and receiving negative comments can feel disheartening. But ask yourself, do these reactions truly diminish the value of what you shared? Marcus Aurelius's insight offers guidance. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Detaching from the need for external validation allows you to focus on your intentions rather than others' responses. Detachment also transforms personal relationships. Picture a friend or family member who often criticizes your choices, whether it's about your career, lifestyle, or relationships. Instead of internalizing their judgments, remind yourself that their opinions are shaped by their own experiences and values, not by a complete understanding of your life. Responding with calm assurance, rather than defensiveness, helps maintain your peace and strengthen the relationship. Practical strategies for detaching from external opinions include: anchor yourself in your values. Spend time reflecting on what truly matters to you. When your actions align with your principles, others' opinions lose their power. Pause. Before reacting, when faced with criticism or praise, take a moment to breathe and evaluate its significance. Does it align with your goals? If not, let it go. Seek constructive feedback. Surround yourself with people who provide thoughtful and balanced feedback. Their opinions can guide your growth without undermining your confidence. Limit exposure to negativity. Reduce your time spent in environments, physical or digital, where unproductive criticism thrives. Curating your surroundings can protect your peace. Historical examples demonstrate the power of this principle. Socrates, often criticized and misunderstood during his lifetime, remained steadfast in his pursuit of wisdom. He did not let others' opinions deter him from seeking truth. Similarly, Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Her resilience in the face of public scrutiny exemplified the strength of detachment. Modern examples abound as well. Consider renowned authors or artists who face harsh reviews yet continue to create. J.K. Rowling, for instance, faced numerous rejections before publishing the first Harry Potter book. Her belief in her story outweighed the opinions of those who dismissed it. In your own life, begin practicing detachment by identifying situations where others' opinions have unnecessarily affected you. Reflect on whether their judgments aligned with your values or were simply noise. By consciously choosing to focus on what you can control, your actions and intentions, you free yourself from the emotional burden of external validation. As Epictetus teaches, detachment from external opinions is not about dismissing all feedback, but about discerning what truly matters. When you cultivate this mindset, you build resilience, confidence, and a deeper connection to your authentic self. The world will always have opinions, but your inner peace remains yours to guard. 5. Cultivate boundaries to protect your energy. Setting boundaries is one of the most vital practices for safeguarding your mental and emotional well-being. The Stoics recognized the importance of maintaining control over what we allow into our lives. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Boundaries are not walls to isolate us, but frameworks that protect our inner peace and ensure we allocate our energy where it matters most. Consider a workplace scenario. You have a coworker who frequently interrupts your focus with unnecessary gossip or complaints. Initially, you might indulge their interruptions out of politeness, but over time, their behavior drains your productivity and peace of mind. By setting clear boundaries, politely but firmly letting them know that you need uninterrupted time for your tasks, you reclaim your focus and demonstrate respect for your own priorities. In personal relationships, boundaries are equally transformative. Imagine a friend who constantly calls to vent about their problems, but rarely offers support in return. While being a good listener is commendable, allowing this dynamic to persist unchecked can lead to burnout and resentment. A simple, kind statement like, "I care about you, but I need some time to recharge before we talk," establishes a boundary that protects your energy while preserving the friendship. Practical strategies for cultivating boundaries include: clarify your priorities. Reflect on what truly matters to you. Whether it's time for family, personal growth, or professional goals, knowing your priorities helps you identify where boundaries are needed. Communicate assertively. Express your boundaries clearly and calmly. For example, instead of saying, "You're always interrupting me," try, "I need some quiet time to focus right now. Let's catch up later." Learn to say no. Saying no is an essential skill for maintaining boundaries. Recognize that declining requests is not selfish, but a way to protect your time and energy for what aligns with your values. Enforce boundaries consistently. Once a boundary is set, adhere to it. If someone tests your limits, gently remind them of your boundaries and stick to them. Historical examples illustrate the power of boundaries. Cato the Younger, a Stoic statesman, was unwavering in his principles and refused to compromise his values, even when pressured by powerful figures in Rome. His boundaries were rooted in his dedication to virtue, and he upheld them regardless of the consequences. Modern examples also abound. Consider athletes like Simone Biles, who chose to prioritize her mental health during the Olympics by stepping back from certain events. Her decision to set a boundary for her well-being, despite immense public scrutiny, inspired millions and demonstrated the strength it takes to protect one's energy. Boundaries also apply to digital spaces. Imagine scrolling through social media and encountering posts that provoke anger or drain your energy. By unfollowing accounts that contribute to negativity and limiting your screen time, you create a healthier online environment that supports your mental health. In your daily life, practice identifying areas where you feel drained or overextended. Perhaps it's a relationship, a workplace habit, or a digital distraction. Establish boundaries in these areas and observe the difference it makes in your overall well-being. The Stoics remind us that our time and energy are finite resources. By setting boundaries, you honor these resources and create a life aligned with your values. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Boundaries are a powerful way to ensure that your actions reflect the life you aspire to lead. 6. Find strength in silence. Silence is one of the most underappreciated yet powerful tools in the pursuit of emotional resilience. In a world dominated by noise and constant communication, the ability to remain silent can set you apart as a person of strength and composure. Seneca extolled its virtues, saying, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." For the Stoics, silence is not about passivity, but about deliberate control over your words and actions, especially in moments of conflict or provocation. Imagine being in a heated argument with a colleague who criticizes your work unfairly. Your instinct might be to respond defensively, raising your voice to make your point heard. But what if, instead, you chose silence? By refusing to engage in a shouting match, you preserve your dignity and project a sense of control. More often than not, silence diffuses tension and compels the other person to reflect on their own behavior. Silence also plays a crucial role in personal relationships. Consider a disagreement with a loved one. Emotions are running high, and both of you feel the urge to speak over each other, to defend your perspectives. Instead of reacting impulsively, try remaining silent and truly listening. This act of restraint not only demonstrates respect, but also allows for deeper understanding and resolution. Practical strategies for finding strength in silence include: pause before responding. When confronted with provocation, take a moment to breathe deeply and center yourself. This pause helps you choose your words or decide whether words are necessary at all. Practice active listening. Silence is not merely the absence of speech, but an opportunity to truly hear what the other person is saying. Listening without interrupting fosters empathy and clarity. Choose nonverbal communication. In some situations, a calm expression, a nod, or steady eye contact can convey strength more effectively than words. Reflect before reacting. If you feel the urge to lash out, give yourself time to reflect on whether your reaction aligns with your values and goals. This reflection often reveals that silence is the wiser choice. Historical examples highlight the power of silence. One notable story is that of Cato the Younger, a Stoic politician known for his unwavering principles. During a heated Senate debate, his adversaries would often try to provoke him with personal attacks. Instead of retaliating, Cato would maintain a composed silence, which only amplified his moral authority and caused his opponents to appear petty. A modern example can be found in professional sports. Tennis legend Roger Federer is known for his calm demeanor on the court, even in the face of controversial calls or intense competition. His ability to remain composed and silent, rather than arguing or showing frustration, has contributed to his reputation as one of the greatest athletes of all time. In everyday life, silence can also protect your energy in digital spaces. Imagine encountering a provocative comment on social media. Responding might feel satisfying in the moment, but it often leads to unproductive exchanges that drain your emotional reserves. By choosing silence, you assert control over your engagement and maintain your peace. Silence is particularly powerful when dealing with criticism. Epictetus taught, when someone criticizes you, consider whether they are correct. If they are, thank them for the insight. If they are not, ignore it. This approach not only shields you from unnecessary conflict, but also helps you grow from constructive feedback. In your daily practice, seek opportunities to embrace silence. Whether it's during a disagreement, a moment of frustration, or a challenging interaction, remind yourself that silence is a choice, one that reflects strength, not weakness. By mastering this skill, you not only enhance your relationships, but also cultivate inner tranquility. As Seneca reminds us, silence at the proper season is wisdom, and better than any speech. By finding strength in silence, you elevate yourself above the noise, standing firm in your values and anchored in peace. 7. Embrace gratitude to dissolve negativity. Gratitude is a transformative practice that has the power to shift your focus from what you lack to what you already possess. The Stoics saw gratitude not just as a moral virtue, but as a tool for dissolving anger, frustration, and negativity. Marcus Aurelius advised, take full account of what excellencies you possess, and in gratitude remember how you would hanker after them if you had them not. By fostering a sense of appreciation for the present, you can change how you respond to life's challenges. Consider a scenario where a colleague takes credit for your idea during a meeting. Your initial reaction might be anger or disappointment, but instead of dwelling on the injustice, what if you shifted your focus to gratitude? You could be thankful for the creativity that allowed you to develop the idea in the first place, knowing that your skills will continue to bring you success in the future. Gratitude reframes the situation, turning your energy toward what you control rather than what you cannot. Another example comes from everyday inconveniences. Imagine standing in a long line at the grocery store after a tiring day. Frustration bubbles up as the line moves slowly. In this moment, gratitude can act as a powerful antidote. Reflect on the fact that you have access to food and the means to buy it. This simple shift in perspective transforms the annoyance into an opportunity to appreciate what you often take for granted. Gratitude also plays a significant role in relationships. Picture an argument with a close friend or partner. Instead of fixating on their words that upset you, focus on the positive aspects of your connection, the support they've offered, the memories you've shared, and the love that forms the foundation of your bond. Gratitude softens anger and fosters reconciliation. Practical strategies for embracing gratitude include daily reflection. Set aside time each day to write down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be as simple as a warm cup of coffee or as profound as the support of a loved one. Reframe challenges. When faced with difficulties, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, what is the hidden benefit in this situation? Gratitude often arises from recognizing the growth opportunities in adversity. Express thanks. Make it a habit to thank the people around you. Whether it's a colleague for their assistance or a stranger for holding the door, expressing gratitude strengthens connections and uplifts your mood. Meditation on gratitude. Spend a few minutes each day meditating on the things you appreciate in your life. This practice helps ground you in the present moment and cultivates a positive mindset. Historical examples illustrate the profound impact of gratitude. Epictetus, born into slavery, could have easily succumbed to bitterness over his circumstances. Instead, he focused on the aspects of his life he could control and expressed gratitude for the opportunity to pursue wisdom and virtue. This perspective allowed him to rise above his hardships and leave a lasting legacy. A modern example can be found in the lives of individuals who have endured great loss yet continue to express gratitude. Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, for instance, wrote about finding meaning and moments of appreciation even in the dire conditions of a concentration camp. His ability to focus on gratitude helped him maintain hope and resilience. In your own life, practice gratitude during moments of stress or frustration. If a project at work becomes overwhelming, remind yourself of the skills you are honing and the opportunities the work provides. When stuck in traffic, reflect on the fact that you have the freedom to travel. These small shifts in focus create a ripple effect, replacing negativity with appreciation. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, gratitude is a discipline that requires consistent practice. The more you cultivate it, the more it becomes second nature, enabling you to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Embracing gratitude not only dissolves negativity, but also enriches your experience of the present moment, helping you find peace amidst life's storms. 8. Reframe criticism pose as a gift. Criticism, whether constructive or harsh, is an inevitable part of life. For the Stoics, it was never something to be feared or avoided, but an opportunity to grow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can refute me, show me I am making a mistake or looking at things the wrong way, I will gladly change. It is the truth I seek, and the truth never harmed anyone." By reframing criticism as a tool for self-improvement, you can transform even the harshest words into valuable insights. Imagine presenting a project at work only to receive critical feedback from your manager. Your initial reaction might be defensive, focusing on how unfair or blunt their words were. But if you pause and reflect, you may uncover valuable points in their critique. Perhaps they've identified areas where your work could be more efficient or effective. Instead of viewing criticism as an attack, see it as guidance for refinement. This perspective not only helps you improve, but also demonstrates emotional resilience. Criticism is especially potent in personal relationships. Consider a close friend who tells you that you've been distant lately. While it might sting to hear, their words could be an invitation to deepen your connection. Acknowledging their perspective and acting on it, perhaps by reaching out more frequently, not only strengthens the relationship, but also fosters mutual respect and understanding. Practical strategies for reframing criticism include pause and reflect. When faced with criticism, resist the urge to react immediately. Take a moment to process what was said and identify whether there is truth in it. Separate the message from the tone. Sometimes criticism is poorly delivered. Focus on the content rather than the delivery. extracting useful insights despite the tone. Ask for clarity. If the critique is vague, ask for specific examples. For instance, can you share what you think could be improved? Shows a willingness to learn and improves communication. Express gratitude. Thanking someone for their feedback, even when it's difficult to hear, shows maturity and creates an atmosphere of collaboration. Historical examples illustrate the Stoic approach to criticism. Socrates, a precursor to Stoic thought, welcomed criticism as an opportunity to refine his understanding of the world. He would engage in dialogue with his critics, not to prove them wrong, but to test the validity of his beliefs. This commitment to growth over ego became a hallmark of his philosophy. In the modern world, successful leaders often embrace criticism as part of their journey. Consider Elon Musk, who actively seeks feedback from employees, customers, and even critics to improve his companies. By viewing criticism as data rather than a personal attack, he continuously refines his work and innovations. Criticism also plays a role in creative fields. Writers, artists, and performers often face harsh reviews. The ones who thrive are those who learn to extract lessons from negative feedback without letting it diminish their confidence. For example, J.K. Rowling's early manuscripts were rejected by numerous publishers, but she used that feedback to refine her storytelling, eventually creating one of the most beloved book series of all time. In your daily life, practice reframing criticism by reflecting on its potential value. If a family member comments on your habits, consider whether there's room for improvement. If a coworker points out a mistake, view it as an opportunity to enhance your skills. This shift in mindset not only helps you grow, but also reduces the sting of criticism, making you more open and adaptable. As Epictetus reminds us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Reframing criticism as a gift allows you to approach life with humility and a hunger for growth. The more you practice this, the more resilient and confident you will become, turning every critique into a stepping stone toward your best self. 9. Harness the power of letting go. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about liberating yourself from burdens that no longer serve you. The Stoics understood this well, emphasizing the importance of focusing on what is within our control and releasing attachment to everything else. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By mastering the art of letting go, you create space for clarity, growth, and inner peace. Consider a scenario where you're holding onto a grudge against a friend who wronged you years ago. Each time you think of them, resentment resurfaces, souring your mood and clouding your thoughts. Now ask yourself, does holding on to this grudge benefit me? The answer is almost certainly no. By choosing to let go, you release the emotional weight that has been dragging you down, freeing yourself to focus on the present and future. Letting go is equally transformative in professional settings. Imagine losing out on a promotion you worked hard for. It's natural to feel disappointed, but dwelling on the loss can lead to bitterness and decreased motivation. Instead, a Stoic approach would be to acknowledge the setback, reflect on any lessons it offers, and channel your energy into new opportunities. As Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. By shifting your focus to what you can control, you regain your sense of purpose and momentum. Relationships often require the practice of letting go as well. Picture a partner who said something hurtful in the heat of an argument. Clinging to their words only deepens the divide between you. However, by releasing the need to win the argument or make them feel guilty, you open the door to reconciliation and understanding. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring issues. It means addressing them without clinging to anger or blame. Practical strategies for letting go include: practice acceptance. Acknowledge that not everything will go as planned. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means embracing reality without resistance. Reframe setbacks. When faced with challenges, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Shifting your perspective helps transform setbacks into stepping stones for growth. Focus on the present. Letting go often requires releasing the past. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation, can help you stay grounded in the present moment. Limit rumination. When negative thoughts arise, redirect your attention to something constructive. Journaling or discussing your feelings with a trusted friend can help process emotions and prevent overthinking. Historical examples underscore the power of letting go. Nelson Mandela, after enduring 27 years of imprisonment, chose forgiveness over revenge upon his release. By letting go of hatred toward his captors, he emerged as a unifying leader, demonstrating the immense strength it takes to prioritize peace over resentment. Modern examples also abound. Athletes often exemplify this mindset. A tennis player who dwells on a lost point risks losing the entire match. Instead, the best players let go instantly, focusing their energy on the next opportunity to succeed. This ability to reset mentally is a key factor in their resilience and success. In everyday life, letting go might mean forgiving a coworker who overlooked your contributions, accepting a canceled plan, or releasing the need for perfection in your work. Each act of letting go reduces emotional clutter and creates room for growth and serenity. The Stoics remind us that clinging to what we cannot control only breeds frustration and suffering. Letting go is not an act of weakness, but a testament to your strength and self-mastery. As Seneca wisely observed, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. By harnessing the power of letting go, you cultivate a life of resilience, freedom, and peace. 10. Live deliberately in the present. The present moment is the only time we truly have, yet it is often overshadowed by regrets of the past or anxieties about the future. The Stoics understood this deeply, urging us to ground ourselves in the now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present. Understand well what happens either to you or another." Living deliberately in the present allows you to experience life fully, free from unnecessary worry or distraction. Consider a situation where you find yourself obsessing over a mistake you made at work. Perhaps you sent an email with a significant typo, or you overlooked an important detail. While it's natural to feel embarrassed, dwelling on the error won't change the past. Instead, by focusing on the present, you can correct the mistake, learn from it, and move forward with renewed attention to detail. This approach not only minimizes stress, but also strengthens your ability to adapt and grow. Living in the present is also essential for personal relationships. Imagine spending time with a loved one, but constantly checking your phone or worrying about tomorrow's to-do list. By failing to be fully present, you miss the opportunity to connect and create meaningful memories. Choosing to set aside distractions and give your full attention to the moment enriches your relationships and deepens your sense of fulfillment. Practical strategies for living deliberately in the present include: practice mindfulness. Engage fully in whatever you're doing, whether it's eating a meal, having a conversation, or working on a task. Pay attention to the details and sensations of the moment. Limit multitasking. Focus on one activity at a time. Multitasking often leads to fragmented attention and diminished enjoyment of each task. Set boundaries for technology. Designate tech-free times or spaces in your day to reduce distractions and be more present in your surroundings. Reflect with gratitude. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on the experiences and interactions you appreciated. Gratitude helps anchor you in the value of the present. Historical examples underscore the importance of living in the present. Marcus Aurelius, as Emperor of Rome, faced immense pressures and responsibilities. Despite this, he found time to reflect and ground himself in the moment, as evidenced by his meditations. His writings reveal a leader who remained calm and purposeful even amidst chaos, by focusing on what he could control in the present. In modern times, consider the example of mindfulness practices adopted by professionals and athletes. Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps credits mindfulness and visualization with helping him remain focused during high-pressure competitions. By staying fully present in each stroke, he achieved extraordinary results and became one of the most decorated Olympians in history. In your own life, practice being present in small, intentional ways. When sharing a meal with family, engage in meaningful conversation instead of scrolling through your phone. During your commute, observe your surroundings rather than getting lost in worries about the day ahead. These simple habits cultivate a mindset of presence and appreciation. Living deliberately in the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or neglecting the future. It means acknowledging them without letting them dominate your attention. As Seneca reminds us, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. By focusing on the now, you unlock a deeper sense of peace, clarity, and purpose. The Stoics offer us a profound roadmap for navigating life with grace and resilience. From recognizing the power of our reactions to embracing gratitude and letting go, each principle equips us to rise above the chaos and live with intention. These lessons are not abstract ideals, but practical tools for transforming the way we approach challenges and relationships. As you journey through life, remember that emotional resilience is not about suppressing feelings, but about mastering them. It is about cultivating the wisdom to act rather than react, to grow rather than resist, and to find peace even in the midst of storms. The principles of Stoicism remind us that while we cannot control the world around us, we can always control how we respond to it. Let this philosophy guide you to live a life of strength, clarity, and purpose. A life where anger, frustration, and anxiety no longer dictate your path. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." May you find that strength and use it to create a life of profound peace and fulfillment.